the subject of language. Now, to get an A&P license in the U.S., you have to read, write, and speak the English language. To get a job at a U.S. air carrier, you have to read, write, and speak the English language. But I want to speak specifically about the facility called Amoco in China, where they're receiving documents, work documents, in Chinese, with the understanding that they're supposed to teach their personnel to speak and read and write English. What's happening, from my understanding, is that there is a high turnover. As soon as they learn to speak, they go work for an air carrier where they get better pay and benefits. And we have a high turnover at this facility. So my question is, what are we going to do about the turnover and the language barriers which could cause problems in maintenance?
You want to take it on?
Steve, what to you?
Oh, I'm sure I'll have a crack at it. Look, I don't know what we can do about the high turnover of staff in China. I mean, if people are going to learn English and then leave, well, that's just the way it is. What I think is more important is making sure the aircraft don't go to China in the first place, and that's something that we're trying to pull back in Australia. In the early 90s, there was a lot of people employed at Qantas, and they couldn't get enough people in Australia. They hadn't invested enough money in their apprenticeship programs and so on. They pulled a lot of guys in from overseas, from Ireland and England, and also some from HAECO in Hong Kong. And I started at the airline around the same time, and the guys who come from Hong Kong were put on English courses for 1 day a week for the first 6 months of their career. So here they'd been working up in Hong Kong. Yes. They hadn't been able to speak English properly while they were up there, and they had to learn when they come to Australia. But I think they enjoyed the better way of life that they got when they come out.
Any other questions?
For an excellent job moderating today, truly, truly excellent. And thanks to all the presenters and panelists for their time, for sharing their considerable expertise, and for helping us elevate the discussion and launch a national debate over the efficacy of current aircraft maintenance outsource practices. I would also like to thank the Teamsters for its leadership on this issue and the efforts of so many of its staff who worked diligently in a very short period of time to pull this summit together. And as Greg said, this is the beginning of a discussion. We are announcing today the formation of the Coalition to Legislate Aircraft Maintenance Outsourcing Reform, or CLAMOR. In the coming weeks and months, we will seek to expand this coalition and further a dialogue about legislative reforms. You'll see up here there's no BTC banner or Teamster flag. This is all about collaboration as we move forward. Such a package will proceed from a set of principles that ensures the very highest standard of aircraft maintenance and assures the American people that Homeland Security is not put at risk by outsourcing practices. These principles are as follows. Number one, a single and highest maintenance standard should be in place for airlines' in-house facilities and domestic U.S. and foreign repair facilities. Principle number two, FAA oversight of domestic U.S. and foreign repair facilities should be increased to a level that is commensurate with the volume and complexity of current outsourcing practices. Number three, the fully burdened costs of FAA inspections and audits should be borne by airlines that choose to outsource to overseas repair facilities. Principle number four, airlines that outsource to overseas repair facilities should hold such facilities to high environmental standards with respect to disposal of toxic wastes and other processes associated with aircraft maintenance. And number five, domestic U.S. and foreign repair facilities should have adequate safeguards in place regarding personnel backgrounds, aircraft access, and parts inventory to frustrate terrorists who might exploit an opportunity to do the U.S. or other countries harm. We will engage the industry, its customers, Congress, and the FAA in a dialogue about specific legislative remedies based upon these five principles. In April, in Washington, we will conduct a customer hearing to examine the proposed legislative reforms package. We will replicate a congressional hearing wherein the questioners are corporate travel managers and members of the press. Witness panels will debate the reforms package. A final legislative reforms package will then be transmitted to sponsors in Congress for their consideration. This concludes today's proceedings. Thanks to all who participated. Safe travels. And if I could ask all the Teamsters to come up for a picture. Thank you very much.